Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Camila. I hope everybody's doing well. This is my April reading wrap up. So basically every single book I read in April. So the first book I read this month is called Un lugar soleado para gente sombría, or A Sunny Place for Shady People, I'm pretty sure it's in English, by Mariana Enriquez. She's an Argentinian horror writer, and I was really excited to read this book because everywhere on social media I've seen her name, I've seen her books, I've seen her works. People really love her and really like what she's putting out. So I was really excited to finally get into her world, get into what she's writing, have a goal of reading more books in Spanish this year. So I was really excited to find someone who wrote in Spanish, and also the original work is in Spanish, it's not translated, so that was a major plus for me. This book is a collection of short horror stories. So there's 12 stories inside of the book. Most of them are pretty short, if I'm being honest, or quick to get through them. A lot of them end in like if you like things that make you go, oh, I don't know what just happened, this book is for you. Honest thoughts, I didn't really like it. I didn't know it was a short story collection to begin with, so maybe I should have known that from the beginning, because I've only ever read one other short story collection before, and I also didn't really love it because I always have the feeling of like, okay, well, I want to know more, and that means I should just go read a novel. This for me read more as like suspense or thriller vibes, like very mysterious, very, you know, things up in the air, other than like not so much horror. I wouldn't say I was really scared or like clutching my pearls when reading this, but it was definitely suspenseful. Like it definitely had that vibe of what's gonna happen next. I don't know if I didn't like the narrative style. I don't know. I gave this book 3 stars. I don't know if I didn't like the writing or the narrative. I don't know what it was, but once I was done with about half of the stories, I was just kind of bored. Like I kind of just kept chugging through all of them because I wanted to finish the book. I wanted to see if there were any other stories that I would really like, but there were none. Not really. I think the first half of the short stories I liked more than the second half. It's not like I was turned off completely from her works, but definitely I don't think I would pick up another short story collection by her anytime soon. Maybe her novel, because I know she has one, and maybe I'll like that. I did like the themes around femininity, like a lot of that is centered in this book, like being a woman and all of that stuff, and romantic relationships. I found a lot of the themes to be interesting, but I don't know, I just think I didn't really vibe with it, and I think it's okay to not vibe with a book sometimes. The next book I read, which was also in Spanish, was Anxious People by Fred Bachman. I was really excited to find out that his books are translated from Swedish into English, or, you know, any other languages, because I always thought that he wrote in English. And, you know, I think a lot of people who read translated works, or at least me, but I feel like I've heard other people like share the sentiment, feel like, you know, when you read something that's translated, you don't really get the whole meaning of it. I think, you know, Babel by kuang really goes into this, but I'm always scared to read something that's translated from English to Spanish because I know English. So a lot of the times I'm like, well, why would I read that in Spanish? Because I know English, so I can get the full meaning that I'm trying to get. But once I found out this man writes in Swedish, not in English, I was so excited because I'm like, well, then we're all well, then everybody who's reading this book translated is getting, you know, whatever they're getting out from it. Anxious People is about a bank robbery that's gone wrong. It's like in a small, I would say like a smaller town somewhere in Sweden. The robber goes into an apartment building and takes hostage the people who are inside of the apartment building by accident. It's an accident, I swear. We follow multiple storylines and plot lines on the lives of people who are both being held hostage in the apartment, and also 2 policemen who are trying to, you know, handle this hostage situation. Just a lot about the human experience, like what do we owe to each other, relationships that we have, like familiar, romantic, platonic, all of that. I think if you want to feel good and warm and happy inside of your body and your soul because everything is horrible, this is a book for you. Humanity is beautiful and we should all love each other and work together, and kindness is beautiful. The next book I read has probably been the most anticipated read of the year for me because I've seen literally everybody rave about it online. It's The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. The Raven Scholar is a book, a fantasy book that is, I would also say it's a fantasy murder mystery book because the murder mystery is a big part of the book. It's set in an empire called Oren. I think I'm saying that right. I hope so. and it's set in a society where they worship like animal deities, and they call them the, oh my gosh, the eighth. They call them the eighth. And so then at a certain age, I kind of forgot at what age, but you kind of decide. I mean, the monastery can take you, you apply. I also wasn't sure how that process was, but you know, you go to the monastery if you want to, and you train there, and you kind of become part of the society. So the main character in this book, Nima, she's a raven, and the ravens are known for being like scholarly and all this stuff. So you know, also every animal has something they're known for. So like the ox they're really good workers, they're team workers, they do like farm and building stuff. I don't know, every 24 years they can elect a new, like, it's the term limit for having a new emperor, and they hold a trial over a week to select someone from the 7 monasteries to be the new emperor. And it's like you're a contender, and you have to do all these trials that are set by the other like groups of people. And during the time that the tournament trial thing is happening, somebody is killed, one of the people who are the contenders for the throne, which is crazy. And the book kind of goes from there. I struggle a little bit with the world building. I don't know if I had that impression because I haven't read fantasy in a long time, and the last one I read was The Poppy War, where I feel like R.F. Kuang, I really like the way R.F. Kuang world builds. So I don't know, but yeah, sometimes I was a little bit like, what the hell is going on here? And even like past, you know, the 1/3 mark of the book, where I feel like you kind of figure out what's going on. But it was also okay because there are a lot of mysteries and little secrets that we were finding out throughout the length of the book. And they do a fake out, a plot twist that honestly, it was really good. Like when the plot twist happened, I was like, oh my goodness, that is crazy. The main character's name is Nima. She's like in her 30s. Honestly, a lot of the characters in this book are like 24 upwards, which I really enjoyed because I know that a lot of people, myself included, sometimes can be a little bit sick of this 10-year-old is going to war and she's going to win and take everybody down. Like that can be annoying at times. So I like it when a book has older characters in it. A little bit of a romantic subplot that I liked. I was like, oh my gosh, every time it happened I was like, I didn't love the writing, I will say that. I feel like maybe it was dry at times, or I don't know. I'm excited for the second one to come out. They announced the other day that it's coming out October 2027, so I mean, that's more than a year away, but at least I didn't read it last year when it came out. At least I read it this year, so I don't have to wait as much. And I'm sure I will forget everything by the time the next book comes around. After reading The Raven Scholar, I really wanted to continue my fantasy train because I hadn't read fantasy in so long, like proper fantasy in so long, and I was so excited to continue it. But the next book I picked up after that flopped for me, and that is Jade City by Fonda Lee. I know, you can boo me all you want because I know people freaking love this book. Urban fantasy, I would definitely say. It's set in this country world con, where in the capital city of Janloon, where certain people have the ability to like channel jade, and for different powers like speed. I think there was like speed, strength, I don't know, different things. They can use it for different things. And you go to like an academy when you're 10, and you're there for 8 years and practice and become, you know, good with the jade. And then you join one of the clans in the city, and the clans are Mountain and No Peak. And we're following the family of the No Peak clan. I forgot all of their names, so please, I'm not gonna say any names. But yeah, the book basically is following, and I think the trilogy follows, the family of the No Peak clan, like all the dealings, all the stuff with the clans, and like they're always at war with the Mountain clan. And then they also have like family drama going on. I gave up on it halfway through it, so I got to like 200 some 20 something pages. Like 100 pages is a mark where I decide, okay, I will keep going, or no, I don't want to keep reading this book. And with this one I decided to push through. When I got to the 100-page mark, I was like, okay, I'm not really liking it, but let me push through, let me see if things change. And so once I was almost at the halfway mark, I was like, this book is not for me. Like I really couldn't care less, so I just gave it up, which was really sad because I really do not read enough books that often. Like I don't. I just found it boring. I found it really boring. Maybe this is me sticking to a genre or something, but I feel like in a fantasy book, stuff is supposed to happen, and I know you have to, you know, set up what's going to happen. This is a part of a trilogy, so I know you're supposed to set up what's going to happen later on in your trilogy in the first book. Like I get that, but I felt like all 200 plus pages I read were just setting up for something else. And even when something exciting happened in the book, like the book didn't capitalize on it, it just went back to being kind of dull and just boring, and just like, I kind of feel like I was reading a live fic book where I'm just following people throughout their lives and what they do. Like, I didn't feel like I don't know, I didn't feel invested in the story. I really did like Fondeli's writing style though, and she has a new book coming out this year. It's supposed to be a standalone, so I'm really hoping to read that, and maybe I'll like it, because maybe I think I just don't like gang or clan stuff. Like, I love Six of Crows, and that's a gang, but it's kind of heist, so you know, it has a lot of moving parts to it. But I tried to read Their Violent Delights by Chloe Gong a long time ago, and I didn't like it because I was like, I don't care about I don't care about these gangs. So maybe I just don't like that structure in books, but I don't know why I wouldn't, because I think I've read plenty of things that have like two opposing sides like going at each other. I don't know, I couldn't get into this one. I was really excited because I love like family dynamics and stuff. That part of the book, the family dynamics, were actually kind of interesting, and I was hoping for more, especially the sister. Like, I was hoping for more from her POV, because I just found the brothers boring. I think that was another thing. Like, sometimes I just, like, men make me bored if I'm being honest, and it's not anything against them, especially in a fantasy world. It's literally fake, but I just didn't find their stories as compelling as the sisters. My only DNF of the month, second DNF of the year, made me really, really sad, because people just rave about it so much that I really thought I was gonna like it. But then again, I don't like Succession, so if people were comparing it to that, I don't know why I thought I would like it. But you know, it's okay, it happens. To keep my reading slump at bay, because DNFing a book, I feel like, to me at least, makes me feel like I'm gonna get into a reading slump, because I already spent all of this time getting into this book, getting into this world, especially with fantasy. You know, you're like trying to understand the things, how everything's happening. I was like, a reading slump is underway for me, so I decided to pick up Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. It's also another one of my like most weighted books, most anticipated reads of the year, because it released last year, but I refused to pay $30 for a hardback. Beautiful Life is about two journalists. Well, one is a journalist, the other one is just an author, I think. We're competing to write the biography of Margaret Ives, who is like this famous socialite, like woman who, her family was really rich. They had like a media empire and all this stuff. She's a recluse, basically. Nobody knows where she lives, nobody knows about her. She disappeared like 30 years ago. So you know, it's very exciting that this woman would want to write a book about her life all of a sudden. And so we follow Alice mainly, and she loves Margaret Ives and the husband she used to have, who was a musician, and she really wants to write this biography. And so we follow her and Hayden, who is the love interest in the guy, and he's like a Pulitzer winning biographer, so she's really scared. Yeah, this book was cute. I gave it 4 stars. I think I give everything by Emily Henry 4 stars. I really love the way she makes you feel like you're inside of the book. Like, whenever I read a book of hers, I know I'm going to feel the setting of the book in my soul. Like, I know I'm going to feel like I am walking in the mountains or in the beach or in the city or anywhere she decides to set a book. She really has a great talent for that. I love the way she writes. You know, the dialogue was good. I like the chemistry between Hayden and Alice. The plot with Margaret Ives could have been a little bit better, or at least her life story, more could have been given to her story. But maybe that was the point, like being subversive and being like, you know, she didn't have the craziest life. She was just someone who was very wealthy. My big gripe with Emily Henry is that I feel like all of her characters feel the same, like her female and male characters. Like, to me, Alice was very similar to Poppy or to like a lot of her other female characters, excepting maybe Nora, and Hayden was the same, but with the only thing that he was really tall. Like, for the last book of the month, I read, this is my most anticipated read of the year actually. So I read lots of things I was hoping to read like in the year this month, which was great, but this is definitely the most anticipated, and it is Katabasis by R.F. Kuang. I can't say enough how much I love almost doctor probably Rebecca Kuang. I freaking love her. I love her books. I finished the Puppy War trilogy last year. I have mixed feelings about Babel, but I have to reread it to actually have my true feelings. And I really, really like this. I just love how she writes. I love the things she has to say. I love everything about her. She's my icon and my queen. And I hope she keeps writing till I'm dead. Or she's dead, I guess. But I hope that doesn't happen. Katabasis is a journey by 2 PhD students, or yeah, they're almost done with their PhD. So yeah, 2 PhD students to go retrieve their professor from hell. They kind of journey through it. Again, another really great format to a book, because having a journey really keeps the plot moving along and like things moving along, and you don't feel like you're stuck anywhere. I really love Alice. I think she was great, and I also really love the way that feminism in academia, or being a woman in academia, was discussed in this book, especially because she had a lot of internalized misogyny, and I really like that she kind of unpacked that, and we learned about feminism a little bit. And also this is during the 1980s, so you know, there's a lot of moving parts here. Yeah, I liked the writing style. I liked the journey to the underworld. I loved how like accounts of hell, like people who have written about hell, were taken seriously in this book. Like Dante in this book is an actual, I mean, like he actually went to hell, and his description of hell is taken into account by Alice and Peter as like something that matters. Like, you know, like this literature matters for them to take their journey. I really love that. Things I didn't like. So this is spoiler for Katabasis. Peter dies like halfway through this book, a little bit more than halfway, but probably like 60% of the way through, and that really affected the book. I ended up giving this book 3.5 stars. I think it's the lowest I have rated an R.F. Kuang book, and that doesn't mean I don't like it. Like, I think 3.5, you know, I still really liked it. Like the parts where they were journeying the underworld, I really liked, and when Peter was alive, and then it was really hard when he was not alive. There's like some villains in hell, and they catch them, and then Peter saves Alice's life, and then she's alone the rest of the book until she kind of brings him back from the dead. And when she's by herself, it was really rough, because we were just stuck with her and her thoughts of, I have to keep living, but I really want to die, and hell is really interesting, but also what's going on here. Like, it was a lot of just her and her stream of thoughts, and I could have done with it for a little bit, because it was definitely a breakdown that needed to happen for Alice to become, I think, fully realized as a person and a character. But at the same time, it was too much. I could have done 20 or 40 pages less of Alice having a breakdown in the middle of hell, because it really affected like the pace of the book. Those who think that they have to like know a lot about philosophy or math or anything like that, that's not true. This book, if you have read Babel, this book is easier to read than Babel. That's all I'm gonna say. The philosophy part of it, because I don't really like philosophy, like I don't like thinking about that stuff. But thinking about it because of the book made me happy. I was like, I'm searching my brain, I'm exercising my thoughts. The math parts I just skimmed over because I don't know anything about math, and I was trying to understand the math parts, but then I just gave up, because I was like, I would need to take a math class to understand this right now. But all that to say that it's not something that's gonna hinder your reading. Like, it's just stuff they mention, and you can look it up if you want and learn a little bit more. But if you don't look it up, your reading experience is not going to be affected. So yeah, that's Katabasis by R.F. Kuang. Love, 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 my queen. Maybe not my favorite, but that's okay. Really excited for Taipei's story this year. I have to read Yellowface to finish reading all of her books, and also reread Babel, because I have weird memories of reading it, but I gave it 4 stars, so I don't know. The books I read this month. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, like, comment down below what authors you're loving, what books you're loving, any video ideas from me that you want to see. Let me know if you read any of these books that I read this month. Let me know if you're trying to read it in another language that's not your, like, the language you usually read it in. Yeah, I don't know.